Now, an astrologer is not an ordinary person. Jyotishi is not an ordinary person. Usually in India, Jyotishis have to be priests. And the reason why, now they have a lot of Jyotishis who are businessmen, and that's all wrong. But the Jyotishi is supposed to be a priest, and the reason why is because the Jyotishi is now going to change your future. He has a very, very big role in your life. He's going to change the whole direction of your life. So he better knows what he's doing. You know? Now, you know, if for example, you come to see me, right? The purpose of coming to see me is to ask a question, say, well, you know, should I get married to this guy or not? You know, or should I get married to this girl or not? Well, I will say yes, go ahead, right? And the mother and father might say no, right? So now that interchanges their whole destiny. Now they are on a different path. See? Right? But like I said, if just people come and say, well, Swami, what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? Yeah, I get a lot of people like that. Right? Well, if I'm wrong, right? If I'm wrong, and let's say you end up sick, and I didn't tell you you were going to get sick, and I'm wrong, I can correct it because I am the Jyotishi. But if you are wrong, or your sister is wrong, who's going to give you the advice, how is she going to correct it? See the power of the Jyotishi? Now the parents may say, yes, I don't want to get married, get the couple married. But if they are wrong, who's going to help? If I'm wrong, I can correct it. That's the greatness of the teacher and the student. So the guru is right, whether if he's wrong or right. He's still right. This is the power of the guru. Because he knows what's going to happen. He knows what's going to happen. So, you know, so he says, Swami, you're wrong, you're wrong, Swami. I said, okay. Okay. So, but I have the power to correct it. Right? So that's why being in your place, Angela, is a very important role. That you have to change people's lives. You have to acquire this knowledge and everything all the time. This great knowledge to do it. Right? Which is, you know, sometimes I'm really sad that there's so many false priests and false prophets, false astrologers and so on. They're robbing the people thousands of dollars for this and that and so on. This is all bad. And this is why we are getting destruction now in 2012. So 2012 is, we are already getting, our 2012 doesn't start in 2012. It started since 1989, when all the whole world changed, the communist countries changed and everything. Our period of change has started since then, and now it's going to culminate in 2014 and so on, when a lot of changes are going to happen. And also you'll see all the changes in the Middle East. See how come it happened only in 2011? Yeah. So you see that happening. That should have happened like 50 years ago, right? So the whole idea is that we are all going through this change now, and this change is coming. So in terms of the Vedic astrology, your time is important, where you're born and so on. And why is the time so important? Because that is the exact moment that you were born, that you took your first breath. Right? And also it's exactly 9 months later. It is all Vedic code. All life code. 9 months later. Why isn't it more than 9 months? If it's more than 9 months, you're in trouble. The baby is going to be distressed. If it's less than 9 months, it's going to be premature. If it's exactly 9 months, it's a perfect baby. Right? Which is our life code. Anybody has a doubt about life code? Look at the 9 months of pregnancy. right? Now let's say you're experiencing some problems and you're faced with some kind of big problem in your life, right? And it's going to go back to all your karma from before. What do? Right? You have to do something opposite, right? To fix that problem. Because there's something called duality. You know what's duality? It means the universe doesn't exist in singularity. There's no such thing as a single thing. There's what you call duality. In other words, you always can counteract something with something. That's why we have opposites. So what happened now, the planet Jupiter happens not to be an enemy of the planet Saturn. So if Saturn is affecting you, who would you go to? Jupiter, right? Well, Jupiter happens to control this food called split peas. You ever heard of split peas? Lentil. It's a lentil. You should have had it in India. It was called dal, right? So it's ruled by Jupiter. And anytime you have a problem with your circulation system, right? You eat this lentil soup and it solves the problem of circulation or cramps. Because cramps and everything are caused by Saturn. Very simple. Astrology or astronomy. Right? Not astrology, astronomy. Okay. So all you have to do is know what's the opposite of something, isn't it? And do the opposite. Okay? So it's very simple. If you have a problem, that's when you come to see me or see the guru. We check to see how we can counteract it. Now that's why Vedic astrology is much more accurate, much more detailed. We know how to counteract it. And that's why we do pujas and so on. Pujas are rituals that are counteracting negative energy. Right? So if a person eats red meat all the time, right? Red meat is really your own meat. So when you put it in your stomach, what's going to happen? It's going to create an imbalance. First of all, because it's your own meat, if the moon is looking at the womb, and it sees the womb as red meat also, and then you have another set of red meat on here, would the moon become confused? So that's how you get cysts. That's how you get menstrual cramps. Because if the moon is confused between the beef in your lower stomach and the moon that's moving. So now the moon is so confused that the moon gets stuck. And that's how you get cramps and missed periods and so on. Very simple. It's the moon, pain, bloating, yes, and so on. Yeah. All that. And so that's why we say don't eat red meat. It's not because we worship the cow, it's because we are smarter than that, than the Westerners. We know the cow meat is going to give us diseases. So the idea is that red meat creates an imbalance with the moon. So that's why the moon will affect you. So when you come, I tell you give up red meat so that the moon can be aligned again, fix everything back again, and you're in harmony with the universe again. So everything has a counteracting force, right? The minute you come and you tell me, Swami, I give up. I can't fight anymore. It means you have no knowledge. You're a loser in terms of knowledge. There's always something that can fight something, right, Marcia? You can always counteract it. Whatever you want. You know. But the most I enjoy the cycles of duality is when Mars and Venus are always counteracting each other. You know, Mars and Venus are very interesting. Venus is known as the goddess of love, and Mars is known as the god of war. They are two good counteracting forces. So the husband ignores the wife, the husband beats the wife or threatens the wife or whatever it is, and war takes place. So Mars steps in, right? And this is the duality of Mars and Venus. When there's a lack of love, there's war, right? And what counteracts the war? Love again. See that? How Venus and Mars plays with her life, right? So she complains, "Are you not paying attention to me?" That starts the war, right? Because he's not paying attention. So Mars and Venus works. We're all caught into this duality in our love life and so on. Because we forget to love. You know, we're too busy on cell phones and iPads and everything. And then comes war. And Facebook. Okay. And here comes war after that. And then you say, you run to the Swami and says, the guy left. You know, he's not there anymore. I said, did you pay any attention to him? No. So we are constantly in the cycle of Mars and Venus.